Mic. Mic check. Mic check. Excellent. Excellent. Greetings, free people. Yeah, man. This is for people who classify themselves as black. That's why I must say black people. And it pertaining to George Floyd, murderer's pardon consideration by Crazy Donald. Yeah, Trump. Donald Ben Trump. I think him become Israeli now. However, you know, we always make an effort to put together our thesis with the aid and guidance, our ancestral intelligence out there to do the basic research, to qualify and clarify whatever we are present, so we maintain with validity, complete respect and honor out there. Sorry, complete respect and honor out there. House of Dallas, complete respect and honor out there. Who walk in the nation in America, complete respect and honor out there. West Indian, complete respect and honor out there. American Indian, greetings, free people across the earth. We not necessarily are subscribed to the world per se. Yeah. Now, we say a pardon without justice is a veil. And when we say veil, we mean it's a disguise. Sovereign accountability beyond colonial clemency. Crazy Donald. Abstract. The thesis critiques the United States presidential pardon as a colonial veil that obscures justice, transforming accountability into political favor. I think I can bring this up just at that. It affirms that true sovereignty demands accountability, not absolution. Again, let me repeat that. This thesis affirms that true sovereignty demands accountability, not absolution, and that the verge where we express out there, the 10-mile jurisdiction of protection, again, stand as the ceremonial boundary where justice cannot be dissolved by executive decree. Part 1. The colonial power of pardon, rooted in monarchical prerogative, the pardon was inherited by the US presidency. Again, rooted in monarchical prerogative, the pardon was inherited by the US, United States of America presidency. It allows executive authority to override judicial verdicts, often for political or symbolic reasons. Listen to that statement, contemplate on it. If a CEO with his executive power from his executive office can override a judicial, either say anything at all from the judiciary area, what is it saying to you people? Really, just think. Think, come on. Once any man can override the judicial verdicts, then you know, say, whatever rules and regulation guides as law is for sale, literally. Hence, we say no man is above the law, and that include but not limited to myself and my associates and my association and my organization as member. Yeah, it applies to us. We have to stay lawful. This is why we express the sovereign law, which is a triadic framework. Now we are structure ourselves in such a way where we can talk about the sovereign jurisprudence. Yeah, man. Copyright claim 2026, authored by myself. Our. Yeah, man. Again, it allows executive authority to override judicial verdicts, often for political or symbolic reasons. In cases like George Floyd's pardon consideration, reveals the tension between justice demanded by the colonized Black people and clemency wielded by the colonial power or authority. Part 2. The veil / guise of clemency. A pardon by crazy Donald without justice is a veil, concealing truth, silencing accountability, and perpetuating systematic oppression. Again, perpetuating systematic oppression. It transforms law into spectacle where mercy is granted not to heal but to obscure. The veil erases the victim's voice and elevates the perpetrator's absolution. This is how them do them ritual and act as if them care about the common people, and the common people keep on participating in their colonial nonsense, in their own colonization. Part 3. Well, let me finish this area. Again, it transforms law into spectacle where mercy is granted not to heal but to obscure. The veil, the disguise, erases the victim's voice and elevates the perpetrator's absolution. Always remember that area. Part 3, sovereign accountability. Sovereignty demands that justice be covenantal, meaning it's contractual, just as how it is, but then move away from it. All right is already there. We just reiterate it and hold them to their standards, but then subscribe an oath of allegiance, oath or affirmation of allegiance to uphold. Simply that. We're not doing nothing crazy, we're not doing nothing outrageous, we don't want to create nothing new, we just present what is already in existence and hold them accountable. So sovereignty demands that justice be covenantal, not corporate or political. The Verge, 12 miles of protection, symbolizes the shield against arbitrary clemency. Without sovereign jurisdiction, accountability within, my apology, forgive me, it's been a long day, but may I sip a little bit of coffee. I just change up my ingredients, spice up my water with my garlic and my onion and my clove bud, So yeah, I make my own little effort. Again, the Verge, 12 miles of protection, symbolizes the shield against arbitrary clemency. Within sovereign jurisdiction, accountability is eternal. Crimes against humanity cannot be pardoned, only remembered and judged Part 4. Ceremonial assertion. A pardon without justice is a veil. Sovereignty demands accountability, not absolution by crazy Donald. The Verge defends truth against the erasure of power. Closing declaration. By covenant and sunrise, the sovereign rejects clemency as veil. By ancestral right, justice is defended. By sovereign will, accountability reigns. Freedom restored, peace defended, sovereignty declared. We are putting in work. Yeah, man. So, I'm on as usual, just I take my time and catalog these things. I can't wait for put myself on a level where, yeah, we really make the effort per se. I can do this, put in this. Yeah. Okay. Can work with this in a minute. My thing is a little bit slow, so bear with me. But I always I catalog these things. Yeah, man. Where I look at a critical sovereign thesis. Only the declared sovereign are exempt from corporate political nationalization, meaning you can't talk it, you have to express it and express it in such a way where it can be validated, meaning you have a certificate of fact to verify or validate whatever statement you push out there. Now, one, the colonial mechanism of nationalization. Nationalization is a process by which a state claims ownership not only of property but of identity. This is why they give you a legal name, a legal identity, a legal persona. Yeah, so they can interact and interface with. Why? Because they cannot interact or interface with the living man or woman from their corporate political capacity. They only can do that when the man or woman has been converted into personas, legal entities. Clarity. Now, one, it converts the living man or woman into a political subject bound by statutory jurisdiction. Clarity. Two, through birth registration, taxation, and citizenship, the state assert corporate dominion over the individual. Three, this act is not natural law. It is administrative annexation, which is the transformation of lineage into legal fiction. Clarity. Thus, naturalization is the modern form of colonial absorption or assimilation where sovereignty is replaced by citizenship or citizenry and freedom becomes regulated privileges under civil rights. Now, them now have civil privileges. Clarity. Two, the declared sovereign. A declared sovereign is one who has lawfully proclaimed identity under natural law, common law, and treaty authority, not under corporate statutes. So all of UNO declaration out there is null, void, ab initio, because they're within the statutes, within the colonization, literally, but it's unknown to UNO. Because UNO don't know nothing about sovereignty. You just learn these things from me. Number one, declaration transforms the individual from subject to sovereign. I'll repeat that. Declaration transforms the individual from a subject to a sovereign. 3 times. Declaration transforms the individual man or woman from a subject citizen to a sovereign being. 2, it is not rebellion. We are not rebellious, but lawful exemption. A return to ancestral covenant. Yeah, man, the pre-colonial jurisdiction. 3, the declared sovereign stand outside political nationalization or naturalization because their identity is not derived from the state, but from ancestral lineage and divine law. I'll repeat that. The declared sovereign stands outside, separate and apart of the political nationalization or naturalization because their identity is not derived from the state or statute or corporate entities, but from ancestral consanguineal lineage and divine authoritative law. In ceremonial terms, the declaration is the jurat of living authority, the sunrise seal that affirms self-determination beyond colonial, political, or corporate bureaucratic fiction. 3, the verge and the shield of exemption. Within the verge, the edge of protection, sovereignty is defended by jurisdictional boundaries. 12-mile radius, remember? Number one, the 12-mile perimeter is not merely spatial, it's symbolic of lawful separation. 2, it marks the zone where sovereign law prevails and political, colonial, corporate nationalization dissolves. 3, the verge is the ceremonial court of Marshalsea, the Nestorian king's court, where declared sovereigns are immune from external imposition. 4, the political veil or disguise. Those who remain undeclared are subject to the veil of nationalization, which is a system that defines them as citizens, taxpayers, and subjects of policy. 1, their rights are conditional, not inherent. 2, their freedoms are permissions, not birthright. 3, their identity is administrative, not ancestral. 4, our declaration tears the veil, rip it apart, restoring the natural covenant between man and creator. So, we're going to look on 5. Ceremonial assertion. Only the declared sovereign are exempt from political, colonial, corporate nationalization. For the undeclared, are citizens. The declared are nations, not national, nations. Sovereignty is not granted. It is remembered and reclaimed. 6, closing declaration. By covenant and sunrise, the sovereign stand exempt By ancestral right, jurisdiction is restored. By declaration, the veil of nation, of nationalization is torn. This thing here, I mess up my thing in. Freedom restored, peace defended, sovereignty declared. Now we'll look at the solution. Non-participation, earth, or universal sovereignty declaration. Remember, we have a universal sovereignty out there. Its proclamation. 1. Non-participation as the sovereign act of refusal against injustice. Again, non-participation as the sovereign act of refusal against injustice. Earth, universal sovereignty as the covenantal authority of all peoples beyond colonial citizenship. America, as the locus where the veil of oppression must be torn over there in that corporate commercial arena. At its heart, it declares, this is the US. Well, we know a different kind of principle, and we are used the Bob Marley phrase when I talk about war, but we don't want to say war, we would rather say non-participation. So we say, until the philosophy which all one race superior and another inferior is finally discredited and abandoned, there shall be non-participation. Until basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regards to race or the color of your eye or your ethnicity, there shall be, non-participation. Until that day, the dream of lasting peace, earth, universal sovereignty, and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion in America. And we can close and say freedom restored, peace defended, sovereignty declared. And you can't say we're not there out there putting in the work what nobody else can do or choose to do. You understand? And yeah, people are getting them feelings, people will get upset. This kind of information will literally fly over people's head because they're not like when you call the spade and tell them that they are, in fact, enslaved. Yeah, when I give it to them that way, it breaks their heart. These people rebel against truth, not against the oppressive lie, not against the oppressor, not against the oppressive system. They rebel literally against truth. That's why they collaborated and consented to crucify the Christ, and then put the blame on their colonizing masters. That's their trickery. I'm going to talk about the colonized, enslaved people. Now, the few that shall be chosen are going to know themselves. They're not going to need nobody to coerce or threaten them or try to convince them to, align themselves with truth. They're going to do that naturally. You understand? Because they're going to resonate with truth organically. It's not going to need no effort. While you have others where totally rebel against truth, rebel against the truth speakers, and not their colonizing political oppressors. That's the difference. That's the difference. And most of our people terrified of truth. You see, the information what we put together, all it takes is common basic research to validate and qualify the information. And this kind of information send these colonized slaves running, literally. Why? Because they are terrified of sovereignty. And that is a shame. This is why we have to plant the seed, not for these cowards out there, but more for the progenies are the ones them where are gonna come forward to initiate the positive, lawful change. Yeah, man. We always say knowledge over ignorance. You know what I mean? Now we can say, accuracy over anything else. Yeah, man, with clarity and precision. Yeah, man. So again, we do give thanks and praise. The brave may fall but never yield. And we say bold and brave, firm and strong, wild and free, unapologetically. Complete gratitude. Freedom is a must, but are you have to move towards freedom? Are you have to voluntarily choose freedom? It won't come to you on a platter. Because even when it does, you can't handle it. Yeah, man, you're too terrified of it. This is why we say it's intrinsic, not external. Intrinsic.